Greetings to our dear viewers watching us on the Holy Drive show on UBC U24 TV. It's always an honor having you part of this show. And today we continue with our guest, Pastor Charles Kasibanti, who has been telling us about his life, his journey, how he grew up from the church. Life was hard. God makes a way for him. He goes to school, begins serving God. And today, he's such a great man of God. He has gone to nations. God has picked him from grass to grace. And he'll be telling us more about the testimonies, the things God has done for him, and how can you redeem this generation? How can you help the young people discover their God-given purpose? I am Jimmy Akanshemeza, your host. And the man I have for you on the show leads a ministry called House of Inspiration in Mutundwe. He's the host of Destiny Matters. He's such a great man of God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, our guest, Pastor Charles Kasibanti.
I'm glad to be here again.
It's such an honor. And I believe our viewers will be blessed in this last episode of the Holy Drive. So how can a man discover his God-given purpose?
Yeah, so by the way, I've written 2 books on destiny. I'd also like to greet the viewers. Hope you're doing great. I've written 2 books on destiny matters. The first book was on finding life purpose. The second book was on insights on being able to discover your call. In the first book, I write about what you've asked me. I teach about how do I know that this is my destiny. And it's not really a brainer. It's very easy because everything around you can give you an understanding of what you've been made for. Your number one, your positioning. Whenever God puts you in a place, in your creation, when God locates you in a particular place, gives a particular language, the thing that you do easily, sometimes you must take advantage of that. Yeah, that's one. Secondly, of course, what I believe is the bigger thing is your passion and your drive. You know, the things that drive you, like I said last time, that even if you are not paid money to do, you still do them. They are always pointers or they are signposts to what God has called you to fulfill in your lifetime. What are the things that make you cry? What are the things that you notice when you go to a place? For example, we cannot walk into an auditorium for a conference and you notice that the sound is bad. Someone else will notice the flowering wasn't done well.
I know.
Someone else will see something that actually usually your purpose is attached to something you see that others don't see. There's a way your eye does not see what you look at. It sees who you are. I don't know if people can actually understand that, but if I walk into Serena, we can be here for months and months and months, and there's something I'll never see. Yet I come in the same spot and you see it all the time. Exactly. Because we don't see at what we look at. We see at what we are. Yeah. So when I notice something, when something gives me pain or I cry about it or I think about it, you walk on the streets, you see the street kids, someone else is just shouting at them,
chasing them away.
You feel like, oh,
want to hug them, you know.
It's a sign on what you've been called to fulfill on the earth. Secondly, burden. What are the things that burden you? What's that thing that you feel like if it takes 1,000 men, you can still do it by yourself? That kind of burden that can make you wake up every morning and just wake up and just do that. So burden is one of the signs. The Bible says, Christ said, for this reason, the Son of Man was made manifest, that he may do away with the works of Satan. There's always a reason why. And when he came into Jerusalem, he wept, he cried. That means there are things that made him cry. He was moved by some things. To everybody else, it was normal. In that generation, to him, it was a burden. It was painful. Now, so when you see those particular things, and then lastly, in that line is gift. Yes, God cannot call you in an area where He has not gifted you. Remember those days where we used to say, We used to say, akayimba temukawuliriza eddoboozi mulize bigambo. I mean, if you can't sing it,
I know.
maybe you're called to say it or write it down. But then, so if I'm called into music, man of God, and music is my passion, I would have the gift for it. So gifts are also indicators of where you're purposed. So when you bring all the things together, and then you begin to find out your purpose. Now, purpose is developed over time. It's answering a set of questions, and you cannot find it when you're still younger. As you grow in, you zero down onto different things until sometimes it actually take you a few good years to find out who you are. It's a real task. Sometimes I even believe that life's purpose was to discover purpose.
I know.
Yeah.
You said gift. How can a man grow his gift?
Yeah. So a gift is something God has given to you. It is effortlessly achieved and gotten from God. But a gift is in this raw form. It will need development. It will need to be added on to skills, developed, trained, put under mentors, trainers, teachers, and given the opportunity to thrive. I always tell people that the size of a fish is not usually much dependent on its species or DNA as much as it's also based on its location.
I know.
As big as a shark is, it can grow small if it's in an aquarium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pastor.
So throw yourself in spaces where you grow your gift. Practice your gift. I tell people the anointing comes in the field. Yeah.
He is an example, Pastor. This is a young man. He has very many gifts. How can he focus on one and grow it?
No, you don't need to focus on one gift. I think what you can do is what we call prioritizing. Yes, and you say, because your gifts apply to different places. Every gift you have, like for example, Joseph, probably in his gifting, he was a dream interpreter, but also dream interpretation was a door opener. He needed now leadership and governance as a gift to be able to now stay in the door, because you will not interpret dreams all the time. The best example I give sometimes is that David used a stone to kill Goliath, but he's not going to be throwing stones all his life to every enemy. There has to be growth. And different gifts apply to different areas. But people have to know that their gifts are called door openers, access gifts that give you access to other people. And then as you meet other people, your gift is applied. The other thing also that can actually help you find your gift very well is situations or challenges or things that are put around you. You know, you don't know what you have until it is demanded for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when situations around you demand for certain gifts, they will come out. It's just like you know, some people don't know that they're good runners until something is chasing you.
Until you see a dog running up.
Yes, and then you discover, hey, I can actually pass Kiprotik
Exactly.
at any given day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Pastor Charles Kasibanti, you're a man of God, you are a father, you've mentored very many people. When you look at the current generation, you compare it to those years in the 19th, a lot has changed over time. How can we save this generation? Most especially the young people. Guys are becoming a nuisance. Young boys are messing up themselves. How can we redeem the destinies of these young people?
Yeah, I think of course that's where we are called personally. That's where we are called myself, because when a purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse of a thing is inevitable. Yes, when we don't know a purpose of anything, to abuse it is very easy, and that's why a lot of people abuse their lives on drugs, prostitution, sleeping around, because they haven't really grasped very much the purpose. When you understand, especially drug use and alcoholism and all that is now rampant a lot in young people. There's a certain level of emptiness and depression among us, young adults there, that age, like you guys at the university, when you look around, a lot of those kids are in that state. And it's a level of emptiness which is really demonic, that cannot be filled up by anything else. It's a rare kind of emptiness in our time. but it comes by so many things. The world is now very visible around us because of social media and the internet.
Exactly.
There's a lot of visibility around us that now we know what happens in America in real time. Through TikTok, we know what happens in the UK. So somebody sees themselves in Uganda and they think maybe they are failing because they're not in America.
The pressure is too
So
much.
the pressure is too much to compare ourselves to even try to look like, appear like those guys. And then a lot of people, because they cannot really do it, they can't dress as they see the guys on TikTok, they can't do what those guys do, they end up slipping into depression. And then when we see all this pop culture, everybody out there is smoking something, they're praising marijuana, and they're disrespectful to women, there's all kind of stuff. And so we copy all these things, but then we don't understand that we are pressed differently. But you see, the honest truth is that God is the one who calls us, and that for me, I believe that is the reason why you feel the way you feel. No matter how far someone has fallen, the moment you're actually hearing this, you even have a time to hear this now on TV. It means you're called by God. Yeah, because the Lord has given the opportunity to actually listen to what you're actually listening to. But Christ fills up those void and that emptiness. And secondly, whenever God comes to us, one of the things he does to us, one of the things he gives to us is purpose. A purpose-driven life will always beat a life that has no purpose.
Exactly.
Because when I wake up in the morning and I know that my pursuit now, like Jimmy, is to become one of Uganda's biggest media personalities, I pursue it. There's an opportunity cost. When I choose something, there's something I've not chosen. So I choose a path, there's something I haven't chosen. And so that gives me discipline. Because you see, that's when Christ called his disciples, he called them when Christ called men around him, he called them disciples. Disciplined after. A life that has no discipline is an empty life.
Exactly.
Yes, you cannot become anything without being disciplined. Everybody we admire, whether it is in sports, football, the kinds of Ronaldos, the Mark Jordans in basketball, the guys in tennis, the Tiger Woods, everybody we admire, whether it is in journalism, the Rally Kings, I don't know who, anyone you admire, preaching the gospel, the Pastor Kayanjas of this world, the leaders like President Museveni, the people in government, people that you think you admire that have made it, there's one particular ingredient that they all carry, and it's called discipline. There is a level of discipline on work, on ethics, on sacrifice, what the things you lay behind. And today you find a lot of children who have been on drugs, lost their future, lost their minds. They're sleeping on streets now because of one bad decision of just trying to be high for a moment. Now they are stuck on that drug. They can't get off it. They're addicted, and their destinies are gone. But what hurts me sometimes, I tell my young people at church, is that when every child was born, somebody went into hospital or wherever, or home, wherever the child was born, and they said, "Omwana mukulike, kakulike ka baby, kongs on a joy of bundles." But when you look at your life, can your parents say again, "Bamukulike ka baby"?
I know.
Have you been
Some are regretting.
Exactly, because sometimes you find, not everyone who's on the street, crazy, mad, living in dumpsters, is because they never had an opportunity. Some really had opportunities. There's the scripture in Ecclesiastes 9. It says that the race is not to the swift, bread is not for the strong, but chance and time happens to them all. According to scripture, everybody, every single day of your life, there is an opportunity to make a decision to change and better your life. No matter your level of income, no matter your age, we are all faced every day with a decision. And for me, when I teach about destiny, man of God, you cannot talk about destiny without talking about decisions. Because the actual root of destiny is enveloped in the power of making good decisions. So, and the thing is, we like quick fixes. We like to become rich quickly.
Exactly.
The
Want
next
to
day,
run faster.
yes, next day you're driving what Pastor Kasmandi is driving. But I've been at this for 20 years or some.
You even used a motorcycle, even a bicycle at one point. You footed.
Foot. Foot, kabisa. I used to walk from Kansanga to Kaboa, going to church.
To Kaboa.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's where my brother's house was in Kaboa, and I would walk on foot. I had no transport. I used to wait for Pastor Chiwewe to give me 1,000 shillings. And sometimes you take long in the meetings. Meetings go up to midnight, and I said, "Oh, I can't end." Yeah, the same lunch hours I preach at now. I used to come from the university and sit at the back of that same lunch hour and wait for the taxi that goes to Kansanga. So that after the lunch hour, not because I even want to hear the word, but I'm waiting for the taxi for ministers.
Oh my God. To give you a lift.
So I can just have a lift. So when you find me driving, ministers got cars, my wife.
Yeah, you move in a Benz, yes.
So at the end of the day, you don't want someone to think that can happen instantly, and that's why we're not teaching our young people. So the pressure comes on them. But if I'm at the university, what am I doing? I'm positioning myself to do well in life. So then while we are there at the university, now we want a quick fix. So we run into jobs, we run into part-time, we run into deals on the street. So we can always suddenly be like a dawn in the city. And we've seen how the lives of people, of social lights have ended up in this country.
Exactly.
Yes.
Bad.
They all come up, one day they have $1 million, and the next day they have nothing. They are sleeping in hospital.
They are back to zero.
They are dying.
I think it's a lesson for us.
Yeah, but do you think we see it? There's someone who's going to say, what is Kanzilie music and exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So Pastor Charles, I have heard your journey, I've heard your testimony, but there are those few things that you really look at and you say, this has been the doing of the Lord. What are some of those few testimonies that you really say, wow, here,
man, for me, it is my whole life. My whole life is a testimony, Jimmy. I cannot tell you.
A few things that you look like today, God has done in your life that have amazed you.
I have so many testimonies.
The whole life is a testimony.
Man, I have so many testimonies. Like my whole life is a testimony. Anyone who knows me from where I've been raised and what we've had to face as a family, to come to where I am today, my story is really of God. For me today to be able to have traveled more than 30 nations of the world, preaching the gospel.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, meeting strangers, being received by people, literally being given royal status, received and hosted like that. It's practically impossible with the background that I came from. In a nutshell, I can't even tell you one particular testimony, this or this. It's everything. Everything. I grew up in someone's home. I grew up in houses. I grew up, we had to literally wait for a meal by miracle. I was raised in a home there in Kampala where the town is mud, the sides are mud, there's no power. We're in Nanganda there. And for me, everything is practically God. The biggest miracle, which I can talk about, is the miracle of being called into ministry. And God trusted me with such an influence that He has given me for now and yet to come. But we are able to have land in Motundu for the church, which we have bought. I didn't have money for that. If I told you how we bought that place, you and I
know it's God.
It's God. So there are so many things behind that, Jimmy. When I tell my story, there's so many things. Everything I look at, I'm a very emotional man. So sometimes I go to my kids' school, the school where my kids goes. I would have never dreamt in a million years to attend that kind of school. Not even to pass by. Not even to pass near the school. Recently, I was at my kids' MDD. She was performing so well. I sat in the crowd and my wife kept on sending me a handkerchief because I was crying. I was tearing, but for so many reasons. That school.
A lot.
Yes, like
triggers a lot of memories.
Yes, it's only the kids I never even met are the kids who could actually have gone into those schools, because the kids in my world none could have ever dreamt of being in those kind of schools. But there, you find your children studying with all these international children from all over the world, and you just don't know how God has done it. And when I go into the details, it's miraculous. It is supernatural. It's not because I have too much money. It's God's grace. It's just how God does everything. So my whole life, and when I recommend to the people, even young people that are watching today, the Holy Drive, I can tell you, Jesus Christ is not a disappointment. People may look at you as if Orifala, you're not trying to pursue life and have fun. But I can tell you, a life well lived with Christ is the best life.
Exactly.
Yeah, Christ will always give you purpose, number one. But secondly, he'll give you discipline. He'll give you discipline. And every generation needs people who are able to understand God. Exactly. Yes, and I think anybody watching us now, the Lord is calling you into that space. I can tell me, I grew up in a family where they used to practice witchcraft. So I have lots of testimonies on that. But for me to even be a preacher, given my background, is a sheer miracle.
It's a testimony. Wow.
Yeah.
Pastor Charles, as we finish this show, after you've done all this,
the show is always very short. Is it only me or other people?
Everyone complains,
Okay.
but I'm trying to pray to God to give us a way of making it bigger, like giving us more time. I think the management of UBC is hearing. Please,
I think we need to have this conversation more and more. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Exactly. Pastor Charles Kasibanti, after preaching the gospel, moving to over 30 nations, touching many lives, how do you want this world to remember you, celebrate you someday when you're gone?
Yeah. First of all, I like to be remembered by my children as a great father, as an available dad who was there. I'd like to be remembered by my wife as a good husband and a loving man. And I'd like to be remembered in many circles of those people around me as a kind and generous man. And then on the bigger surface, I'd like to be remembered as a man who aligned and helped destinies to become. Yeah.
And you've done that.
I'm trying.
Is your heart at peace? Do you feel like you have that content? Like, are you content in your heart?
No, not yet, because I feel like a lot must be done. That's why I want 1 hour of your show so that I can talk.
Exactly. We shall be back very soon for the 3rd episode, right?
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you, Pastor Charles Kasibant, on the Holy Drive Show. I have been Jima Kanshaneza, your host, and it's really been an amazing show. I believe we shall have episode 3. If the demand increases, even the 4th episode can come. Otherwise, we love you so much. Thanks for being part of the Holy Drive Show. We love you so much. Until next time, shalom, shalom.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating